this actually makes coming back round to the grid, Johnny.
Very much so, Graham. So ahead of the start of the Spa 24 hours, the cars are weaving from left to right, coming out of BLANCPAIN now and towards the bus stop. Very definitely not a bus stop anymore, but it's a right-left flick, which takes them onto the finish line. Not technically the start line, though, for this race, because the cars will make their way around La Source and then get the red lights come on and go out again as the cars exit La Source. Incidentally, the man waving the Belgian flag to get the formation lap underway was Felix. All about that.
I did. He fell out of a balloon accidentally at 10 miles up. But interestingly, young Joe Bradley recognised him. I just thought it was a motorcycle race, like a musty sort of young bloke. And Joe, no, that's Felix.
I have got an advantage on you, though, Nick. He was at the Nürburgring.
I just thought it's because you drank a lot of Red Bull and fell out of very high balloons.
24 hours on the clock then. We're ready to roll for the 66th running of the Spa 24 hours. It's RadioLeMans.com, powered by Nismo. Johnny Palmer, Joe Bradley, Nick Damon, Graham Goodwin, Paul Truswell and Martin Haven to take you through it. And it's a good start for the Audi then, the number one Belgian Audi Club Team WRT car, driven by Laurens Vanthoor, and he's got the start. And sensibly this time around, Alessandro Pierguidi, unlike last year where he spun into Eau Rouge on the opening lap and caused peril for everyone behind him, Pierguidi has learned from that mistake and funneled in behind the Audi. So it's the number one Belgian Audi Club R8 that leads from the 50 AF Corsa car. A good start from Alessandro Pierguidi, and it looks to be the HTP Motorsport number 85 Steff Duffeldorf SLS in third position, but an awfully busy run down the Kemmel Straight and heading into Le Combe for the first time. Believe it or not, everyone has got through. It's three abreast, though, heading out of Malmedy corner and towards Rivage for the first time. This is going to get an awful lot of sorting out in the opening lap. Almost a bit of contact there for the 96 Aston, which is the PGF Kinfound entered car. Started mid-grid and has stayed there for the time being. Everyone else just about funneling out of the corner with no name then, and up towards, in a moment or two, the right and left flick, which is often single file, really. Probably not on this opening lap. Does everyone break more or less the right point? Yes, and they're heading through the left-hander now. Interestingly enough, to hear from the Alvaro Parent side of things, I think he's sensible to stay back on this opening lap, chaps, and think about overtaking on lap 2.
You could say that for everyone, Johnny. It's a 24-hour race, but that's certainly this already halfway around the first lap, and we've had some bodywork swapped, we've had some paintwork swapped, we've had little bits of contact throughout the first lap. It's very, very crowded down the field. They're already through Stavelot and already on that stretch towards Blanchemont.
What I'm noticing is a lot of the quick chaps are in the car from the start, and that's when you need the professional racing driver who knows his way when in traffic and can have a cool, calm head at the start of a hugely long race. You do not want contact, or if it is, just minimal contact if possible on the opening lap. You don't want a big one because it's very difficult to come back from that, even so early in the race. At the end of the first lap then, the number 1 Audi leads the number 50 AF Corsa car, so they started on the front row in exactly that order. From the 85 Mercedes, the HTP Motorsport car of Steff Duffeldorf. I think it may well be the Santilok Audi in 4th position. Get confirmation on that in just a second, because the grid will rattle on through. But heading out of La Source, it's a frightening run, even without traffic around you, into Eau Rouge. And such a kind of compression at the bottom of that hill, climbing then out of Eau Rouge through Radion and onto the Kemmel Straight for the second time.
Yeah, they come down. The start was noticeable. I think I did feel the motif with discretion be the better part of valour there. There was a lot of people who actually were working very hard to avoid each other. And I think some of that bodywork spoken to about, Joe, came because as car A tried to avoid car B, he unfortunately went into car C slightly. And it's that shuffle down. We see it now coming up towards the top of the Kemmel Straight. The cars are streaming through all 6-man machines, and they are still divided by the minimum distance possible that's probably safe.
And describing that, Nick, that's because they were sometimes 3 and 4 wide, and sometimes car B would hit car E, let alone car C.
Yeah, there was some 2.5 wide, but with 2.5 behind and 3 back, and then somebody else going, I think I just watched this.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, seeing those pictures there, the GT3 balance of performance, I'm a full supporter for. If it's going to give us racing like this, then I'm all for it, because we've
got for Bentley.
Bentley's going slow there, Johnny.
Is it the 8 or is it the 7, I wonder? Can't see from that particular shot. Let me give you the order, though. It's the number 1 Audi, then, that leads the way after nearly 2 laps, ahead of the number 58, of course, of Ferrari, of Alessandro Pierguidi, then the 85 HT Motorsports Mercedes, ahead of the 26 Santilot racing car. A fabulous start from the other HTP Motorsport Mercedes, which won the race last year. It's up to 5th from 7th.
It's the number 8 Bentley, and it looks like he may have a right rear puncture. Again, probably coming off some of that contact in the early stages of that first lap.
Yeah, because you get the contact on the opening lap, and coming around for the second time, you could quite easily collect a bit of carbon fibre or bodywork.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Into the tyre.
Could be a puncture as well.
He looked pretty flat down, so the worst case is a slow puncture. I'm just wondering whether he, as you say, a bit of side-to-side contact may have knocked something as the sister car 7 comes underneath us in an 8th overall position, so keeping out of trouble in these first very, very busy 3 laps. I mean, this is much more like Hyde Park Corner at rush hour than a motor race at the moment.
Antoine Leclerc on board the number 8.
So that makes all us older people do. Leclerc.
Leclerc.
That's how it was spelled.
Crucial.